everyone. We're group number 1 and number 6. And we're now presenting Harvard Business Review case study, The Officer's Assault. And this picture is our knowledge graph. And the middle of the graph is the whole story of the case. And the other part of the graph is about the reference of the story and other discussion. So we'll first introduce the story of these cases.
Okay, at first we introduce Meridica. Yes, Meridica, the largest and oldest player in the telecommunication industry, and it is also the price leader. He can be said the best known brand in Europe. This guy is Joseph Warren, and he is the chief marketing officer of Meridica. He was very happy because only 72 more hours he could step out of his chief marketing officer suit and enjoy his 2 weeks holidays. No meeting to run, no presentation to prepare. He could not wait to have a vacation. But when he opened the newspaper, the advertisement shocked him. Free broadband forever with Telstra, sell at least $450 a year when you switch from Meridica. Telstra is a small mobile network operator and eager to break into new market. People could sign a long-term contract in exchange for the free broadband service. It is a strategy. This strategy is to offer free broadband service in exchange for market share. This is exactly an attack point at Meridica.
And in order to solve these situations, an hour later, Meridica held a meeting. And in these meetings, the header of the deadline division, Adam Dupree, he speaks first. And he said since he has been in this business so long, he thinks this problem will blow over soon. And first, Telstra isn't offering the free landline services. And customers are not stupid. They knew they have to pay in the end. And second, customers care most about quality and convenience. And this is what Meridica have already provided. And third, Meridica have an 85% market share compared with Telstra is only 5%. And since they are the number 1 in their market and they have earned 70% of the Meridica revenues. So if the company decided to join the price compositions, they shouldn't cut the deadline services. And then the header of the broadband services, Emily Richards, she raised her opinion. And she thinks that don't even think about offering their service for nothing. Telstra can do it for free because their broadband business is brand new. And now, Meridica have 60% market share and contribute 25% to the top line right now. And also, the broadband services is the fastest growing part of their company and have the highest margin. If they decided to kill the broadband service off, all product line needs to take the pen. And Frank, the header of the mobile division, and he speaks something from a total different perspective. He thinks that maybe they should ignore it, ignoring the fact that Telstra is actually a serious player in the mobile phone market now. They have 25 shares compared with Meridica is only 5. And Telstra has already won a lot of name recognitions. And besides, customers want to know the predictability of their monthly cost. A mobile is the biggest and the most variable component of that. And maybe they should focus more on the mobile market.
Okay, so here comes the head of sales, Charlie. He ran into Joseph the other night outside of the convenience store, and he strongly recommends Joseph that they should take a strong and direct response against their opponent. Because talking about the free forever strategy, Meridicum is large enough to make this kind of credibility, not some small company like tells it. And even if it will make their probability drop a little bit, but according to his opinion, it is all worth it. And the CEO, Gerard, has a totally different opinion. First of all, it is not the tells it that they are worried about. It is the phenomenon that tells it is creating to this market. Assume a bigger company take over and adapt the same strategy to this market. It could be a game changer. And second, he cares more about pricing power and margin than about the small dip in market share. So apparently, they have totally different opinion on this marketing problem. So all this marketing problem head back to the Chief Marketing Officer, Joseph. So what should he do? And our first question is how to let division heads work together. So our answer is, the first answer is to create a common goal for the company. Because when the company have a common goal, each member of the company will work together in order to reach that goal. In that case, it is more likely to understand the difference between each division. Second, frequent interaction helps build familiarity with each other, because it is easier for you to put your feet in others' shoes. And third, openness is the best policy, because only if you treat others with the way you want to be treated, the problem between division will one day be solved. And the last one, the incentives are necessary for this company, such as group project, bonus, or executive award. And that is the first question.
Now let's see question 2. How should Josh do to react to competitors' attack? We have two experts. Both of the experts all think competing price with a small competitor is the worst reaction, because a price war signal is sent out to other players. This will around not only Meridicum's margin but also the entire industry. So competing price is not a good choice. And the expert, George Tech, he thinks don't put zero response limited in a tech product. You can open up another battlefield that has a lower risk. For example, Meridicum could fight back on mobile service where it has only 5% market share and put Tailzip on defensive. Second, considering not only price level but also price model reaction. Such a move may meet customer needs without putting profit at such high risk. For example, Swisscom, a telecom in Swiss, switched its model from pay per minute to pay per call and therefore maintain the market dominance. Third, take advantage of your product portfolio breadth. You can design some attractive bundles and develop smart discounts to retain customers and maximize your share of their wallet. For example, subscribe our broadband service. You can access to Wi-Fi for free for 1 year or a landline set up for free. But unfortunately, Meridicum still has the old tel industry, tech-oriented mind. But in modern, customer-centric organization can tackle challenges more flexible. It's using approaches such product integration, overall involving single point of contact and an aligned loyalty program to customer. This will be better for Meridicum. And another expert, think if price is the main reason that customer want changeless prices, which means Meridicom hasn't built real value into offering. Meridicom's brand may represent trust and credibility to customer, but customer still receive bills from 3 different divisions. It's obviously that customers deserve better service. Now, Meridicom can place an ad that focuses on their brand quality, but most importantly, Joseph Moon should start remaking the company as a champion of their customer and give the division heads an incentive to work together and create more value in Meridicom's offering. Maybe in the end, Joe might be grateful that Telzit was a catalyst for Meridicom to trend. Now, let's welcome the group who want to comment.
Okay. First, I would like to present success factors of the price war to understand why there are some enterprises trying to enter. There are 4 key factors that will lead the firms to join the price war. Profit. And the first one is the state of competition. As an incumbent, they sometimes reduce price initially in order to press the market share of the entrants in the future. For example, Coca-Cola. At the time he entered into Chinese market, he adopted the low price strategy to own the market rapidly. After, when a competitor, Pepsi-Cola, joined again, its price was as low as Coca, but the market share is less. So, Pepsi has to promote by advertisement. Hence, Pepsi never wins during 10 years. On the other hand, as an entrance, the price war is the easiest way to compete with the incumbent. The second key factor is brand. While facing a brand which is stronger, the enterprise may release products with the same type and lower price. Therefore, consumers may prefer their low-price product to high-brand product. And the third factor is target. When the enterprise target emphasizes on selling quantity, and the low-price strategy is useful for the last key factor is the life cycle of the product, and its related to certain industry. While its trend is getting more and more from small number of high-status consumer to mass consumption, take this chance to cost down your product so that lots of people will be appealed to buy the product. In Taiwan, there are also similar cases. There are some telecom companies which were established earlier in about 1996, such as Zhonghua Telecom, Taiwan Mobile, and Far Eastern Telecom, and Asia Pacific Telecom. Vivo Telecom are late competitor. They stop a price war. Asia Pacific first created unlimited send network minutes, which offer unlimited number of calls a minute in order to save the communication costs for the users. And Vivo's competitive strategy was unlimited send network minutes on all tariffs, the largest and unique network in Taiwan. So it offered the lowest price among these 5 telecom companies. While facing Asia Pacific and Vivo's program, Far Eastern offered a low price program for low effective internet users which attracted more consumers. Taiwan Mobile made a tactical response against others. And finally, Zhonghua also lowered its mobile internet tariff and offered many ways to reduce the price.
Okay, so in the final part, I will show you 3 videos related to this case from TED.com. But due to the time limitation, we will only show some parts of this video. But if you are interested in this, you can go to TED.com or YouTube to watch the whole videos. So here's the first video. This is How Great Leader Inspired Action by Simon. In the last part, we were talking about how to avoid price war. But if you want to avoid it, you need to find the product, your service value. And Simon, he talks about when you want to promote your product or service, you need to know why you make this and why people need your product. So here's the video.
Is Apple so innovative? Year after year after year after year, they're more innovative than all their competition. And yet they're just a computer company. They're just like everyone else. They have the same access to the same talent, the same agencies, the same consultants, the same media. Then why is it that they seem to have something different? Why is it that Martin Luther King led the civil rights movement? He wasn't the only man who suffered in the pre-civil rights America, and he certainly wasn't the only great orator of the day. Why him? And why is it that the Wright brothers were able to figure out controlled powered manned flight when there were certainly other teams who were better qualified, better funded, and they didn't achieve powered manned flight, and the Wright brothers beat them to it? There's something else at play here. About 3.5 years ago, I made a discovery. And this discovery profoundly changed my view on how I thought the world worked, and it even profoundly changed the way in which I operated it. As it turns out, there's a pattern. As it turns out, all the great and inspiring leaders and organizations in the world, whether it's Apple or Martin Luther King or the Wright brothers, they all think, act, and communicate the exact same way, and it's the complete opposite to everyone else. All I did was codify it. And it's probably the world's simplest idea. I call it the golden circle. Why, how, what? This little idea explains why some organizations and some leaders are able to inspire where others aren't. Let me define the terms really quickly. Every single person, every single organization on the planet knows what they do, 100%. Some know how they do it, whether you call it your differentiating value proposition or your proprietary process or your USP. But very, very few people or organizations know why they do what they do. And by why, I don't mean to make a profit. That's a result. It's always a result. By why, I mean what's your purpose? What's your cause? What's your belief? Why does your organization exist? Why do you get out of bed in the morning? And why should anyone care? Well, as a result, the way we think, the way we act, the way we communicate is from the outside in. It's obvious. We go from the clearest thing to the fuzziest thing. But the inspired leaders and the inspired organizations, regardless of their size, regardless of their industry, all think, act, and communicate from the inside out. Let me give you an example. I use Apple because they're easy to understand and everybody gets it. If Apple were like everyone else, a marketing message from them might sound like this. We make great computers. They're beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. Want to buy one? Meh. And that's how most of us communicate. That's how most marketing is done, that's how most sales is done, and that's how most of us communicate interpersonally. We say what we do, we say how we're different or how we're better, and we expect some sort of behavior, a purchase, a vote, something like that. Here's our new law firm. We have the best lawyers, the biggest clients. We have, we always perform for our clients, do business with us. Here's our new car. It gets great gas mileage. It has, leather seats. Buy our car. But it's uninspiring. Here's how Apple actually communicates. Everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. We just happen to make great computers. Want to buy one? Totally different, right? You're ready to buy a computer from me. All I did was reverse the order of the information. What it proves to us is that people don't buy what you do, people buy why you do it. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. This explains why every single person in this room is perfectly comfortable buying a computer from Apple. But we're also perfectly comfortable buying an MP3 player from Apple, or a phone from Apple, or a DVR from Apple. But as I said before, Apple's just a computer company. There's nothing that distinguishes them structurally from any of their competitors. Their competitors are all equally qualified to make all of these products. In fact, they tried. A few years ago, Gateway...
Okay, so Simon gave us the golden circle. And from inside out, we need to focus on why you make this, what you believe. Okay, and the next video is Sheena. She talks about how to make choosing video. In this video, Sheena tells us when you provide too much choice, people will rather leave than stay and compare your product and then buy it. So let's watch this video.
So when I was a graduate student at Stanford University, I used to go to this very, very upscale grocery store. At least at that time, it was truly upscale. It was a store called Draper's. Now this store, it was almost like going to an amusement park. They had 250 different kinds of mustards and vinegars and over 500 different kinds of fruits and vegetables and more than 24 different kinds of bottled water. And this is during a time when we actually used to drink tap water. I used to love going to this store, but on one occasion, I asked myself, well, how come we never buy anything? Oh, here's their olive oil aisle. They had over 75 different kinds of olive oils, including those that were in a locked case that came from 1,000-year-old olive trees. So I one day decided to pay a visit to the manager, and I asked the manager, you know, is this model of offering people all this choice really working? And he pointed to the busloads of tourists that would show up every day, with cameras ready usually. We decided to do a little experiment. And we picked jam for our experiment. Here's their jam aisle. They had 348 different kinds of jam. We set up a little tasting booth right near the entrance of the store. We either put out 6 different flavors of jam or 24 different flavors of jam. And we looked at 2 things. First, in which case were people more likely to, stop, sample some jam? More people stopped when they were 24, about 60%, than when there were 6, about 40%. The next thing we looked at is in which case were people more likely to buy a jar of jam. Now we see the opposite effect. Of the people who stopped when they were 24, only 3% of them actually bought a jar of jam. Of the people who stopped when they were 6, well, now we saw that 30% of them actually bought a jar of jam. Now if you do the math, people were at least 6 times more likely to buy a jar of jam if they encountered 6 than if they encountered 24. Now, choosing not to buy a jar of jam is actually probably good for us, at least it's good for our waistlines. But it turns out that this choice overload problem affects us even in very consequential decisions. We choose not to choose even when it goes against our best self-interests. So now...
Okay, so Sheena tell us, although many choices can attract people, it cannot really make people spend their money to buy your product or service. And for example, there's Android phone and iPhone in the market. Android phone provide many different modules and many different brands also. But only certain people knows the difference of these phones. But iPhone, there's only the only one the newest for a year. For now, it's like the iPhone 5. So if you have many budget, you may buy the iPhone 5. But if you have less budget, maybe you can buy the iPhone 4S or even iPhone 4. But Android phone, it's hard to compare which type you need, and even though you have the budget, but you still don't know which brand or which type of phone you need. So here's the final video. It's Dan talks about what physics taught me about marketing. So in this part, I will show you no matter what, how many effort you make to build your brand, just only one mistake can ruin all your effort.
The scientific method, an axiom of physics of all science, says you cannot prove a hypothesis through observation, you can only disprove it. What this means is you can gather more and more data around a hypothesis or a positioning, and it will strengthen it, but it will not conclusively prove it. And only one contrary data point can blow your theory out of the water. So if we take an example, Ptolemy had dozens of data points to support his theory that the planets would rotate around the Earth. It only took one robust observation from Copernicus to blow that idea out of the water. And there are parallels to marketing. You can invest for a long time in a brand, but a single contrary observation and positioning will destroy consumers' belief. Take BP. They spent millions of pounds over many years building up its credentials as an environmentally friendly brand, but then one little accident. Think about Toyota. It was for a long time revered as the most reliable of cars, and then they had the big recall incident. And Tiger Woods, for a long time, the perfect brand ambassador. Well, you know the story. So the physics is that you cannot prove a hypothesis, but it's easy to disprove it. Any hypothesis is shaky. And the marketing is that no matter how much you've invested in your brand, one bad week can undermine decades of good work. So be really careful to try and avoid the screw-ups that can undermine your brand. Hello?
Okay, so here's all our presenting for this case, and thanks for your listening.